long history in political activities in Nigeria. Maybe people who are outside Nigeria may not know. Nigeria has a population roughly of about 200 million people as of now. Half of that, or thereabout, is located in the north. The other half is in the south. My first observation is that I realized that there are only two people from my own half, that is the northern part of the country, that will be participating in this program, whereas the rest, I think we're about 8 or 9, are from the southern part of the country. I think as a Democrat, I would have liked to have fairness in all the arrangements so that everybody would be given equal opportunity. Now, we are talking of presentation, but I understand that this program is going to last from 7 to, 9 or so, for 2 hours. But the 2 hours are not dedicated to me, but will be dedicated to all other people. So my understanding is that I'm allowed to make a presentation for about half an hour from now. Like you said from the beginning, this is a time when we break our fast. After spending the whole day starving, to be taxing if I'm expected to commit the 2 hours of this program for myself. Maybe not everybody understands. At the moment, I'm 94 years old. So there is a lot of things that energy has taken away from me. So I will do it quickly. The impact of coronavirus to the whole world and its economy is immense. And I believe this is the first time we're having a worldwide pandemic that is happening simultaneously all over the world. As a result of that, economic activities are virtually at a halt now, at a standstill. No movements, air flights, no motor transportation, no ship movement. People don't go to their offices who work, they work from home. And there's a lot of restraint in the normal life of the people. And like I said, this is the first time that this kind of thing is happening in the whole world. I understand that in 1918, that was 7 years before I was brought here to this world, something similar has happened, but that one did not cover the whole world at the same time. But this one is covering the whole world at the same time. So I think it will affect the economy of everybody, rich and poor. Now, we saw during the Second World War, two countries in particular, many countries, but I want to talk about two countries, Japan and Germany, were the main opponents of the Allied forces. Now, after the war, Second World War, Japan and Germany tried their best to reorganize their life. And today, the two nations are among the leading nations that have developed economically, politically, and socially. What I think is likely to happen is that we are going to learn a lot of lessons at the end of coronavirus pandemic period. The lesson will be probably learning from the experience of Germany and Japan, what they did to recover from the devastation they suffered during the war, and also learn from their experience as to how to reactivate not only our economy, but our life altogether. Now, I hope that this lesson we will be able to learn and also work out strategy whereby the shortcomings that we'll experience during the pandemic will not be as long as the one during the or after the Second World War. Now, the question of restructuring that you mentioned, I'm not a happy person to discuss restructuring because the issue of restructuring in Nigeria has started with some people. And those people, in my opinion, they are educated people. They should have worked out a formula, a blueprint that they will present their idea to the world so that people will listen to them, analyze their idea and their presentation, and then make up their mind one way or the other. But to ask people who are not the initiators of an idea to speak or to expound on the idea, I don't think, being somebody who has been fighting for fairness, I don't think is fair. Do I continue?
Yes, go ahead, sir. Yes, go ahead.
What I said from the beginning, I would have liked to see a balance in the composition of your panel.
Okay.
Nigerians, let half of the panel be from the north, let half be from the south. Then we have people make a meaningful contribution. But to put 8 people against 2, I don't.
No, sir. Okay, let me make some clarification. We have 3 speakers. You are one of them. Gaba is one of them. Actually, if we put it this way, it's 2 against 1. We would say it's only Professor Kinsley Moralu, who I'm getting information now that he's got some emergencies. So it's going to be, I mean, we have the platform we're using would contain 100 people. So it's whoever comes in, you know, we make it free for everyone to come in. So we cannot force people to come in. When they come in, we accept them. So, but for now, I mean, we'll allow you to make your presentation. Then when, I don't know if Gaba is here. So Gaba will be the next person afterwards. Is that clear, sir? So well, I think, you know, 3 people, 2 from the north, 1 from the south. I think that's fair enough, in my view.
Yeah, but I should have understood this right from the beginning. Now that you have clarified the position, I think I made my own presentation and I allowed the other man to do his own.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. So now we would have questions. And I have questions, you know, to start with. You know, when you started, you said many people didn't know you. And I don't think, you know, those in the diaspora and maybe the younger ones, I think, you know, it might be a little bit unfair because I think many of us actually follow you and follow every single article and opinions that you give out there. Now, my first question to you, sir, will be, you've been quoted are saying that the APC promise changed and that nothing has changed. At the same time, you said that the restructuring is Yoruba agenda, championed by uninformed Igbo. In that single statement, I would think that you have discarded the efforts of these two ethnic nationalities. Now, I would then ask, what is being offered? If you are saying that restructuring is a Yoruba agenda or the elite championed by the uninformed Igbos. So is that not throwing out the baby with the bathwater, sir?
Okay. I'm sorry, ALHAJI, good evening, sir. I'm the moderator. Let me also quickly add add something to what the host has said. Some of us who grew up after not too long ago, we are young. We started this Zoom conference as an opportunity to learn from our elders. Since we are now sitting at home, when we started this program, we are inviting people we feel we can learn from them. They will speak, we listen, we ask some questions, and we get to understand what are some of the steps we can take, especially in view of this coronavirus pandemic. We started with, like he explained initially, we started with Soludo, Chidoka. We now moved on to honorable members of the House of Representatives. And now your name is a resounding one. We feel you are an elder statesman. We should listen to you. We should learn from you to help us take the necessary actions we need is necessary, especially in view of the crisis we are facing after this pandemic. So we are not looking at it as if we are boxing some people in or catching some people, or it's just about sharing ideas, learning from you to enable us to take the necessary action. So if other speakers come, you are not expected to speak for the entire 2 hours. If you now that you are giving some presentation, some of us have some questions we would like to ask, and then so that we can learn from you, sir.
Okay, I will start with the issue of restructuring, which I said started from the Yoruba land. I didn't say it's the Yoruba agenda. The beginning was 1953. I was there. What brought about the problem at that time was the motion for independence by an action group member, a good friend of mine, late Chief Anthony Inaho. The motion in 1953 was that Britain should grant independence to Nigeria in 56, I think, which was a bare 3-year period. I'm sure it's not known to you, but it is known to me. As at that time, the whole of northern Nigeria had only 2 or 3 graduates, whereas in the thousands of them. To ask for independence for Nigeria at that time is to install, because among the 1,000 people who are the better educated at that time were the Yorubas. They started with the Englishman long before the South and the East came into the picture. So the understanding at that time of all Northerners was that the action groupers wanted independence so that they would dominate the civil service, the business, and industry of Nigeria, and therefore they will replace British colonial power. I can tell you that I've never been a member of NPC, that is Northern People's Congress, of Sir Ahmed Bello, the Sultan of Sokoto, and Sir Abuka Tafawa Balewa. I was all along from the beginning of my politics a member of opposition party called Northern Elements Progressive Union, NEPO. There was another party at that time of northern origin, Middle Belt People's Party, and other small political parties, like Borno Youth Movement, like Norentela Kaparapo, and so on. But all of them were united in supporting the amendment Sir Ahmad Bello Sardauna Sokoto as leader of Northern delegation or Northern members of House of Representatives proposed that instead of 1956, it should be amended to read as soon as practicable. And unfortunately, Southern members in the House of Representatives, including our allies, members of the NCNC, led by Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, that we respect very much, and that until today, I respect him as a doyen of Nigerian politics, team up. They did not see the other side of the story. They did not see our own side of the story. And that was the beginning. All the subsequent changes that happened in Nigeria were from that 1953 beginning. Now, people now are talking of restructuring. In a layman English, means changing a structure. Political restructure in Nigeria, or changing political structure in Nigeria, means that what we have today as a federation should be changed to something else. A federation of federal government or federal establishments, state establishment, local government establishments. Those who are advocating for this new change do not tell anybody except themselves what will be the new idea that they are bringing to replace the current situation that we have, that we are used to. But other Nigerians are Nigerians. They are entitled to know what will be the consequences. As you see me, I have 19 children, all educated. I'm not educated, but they are all educated. I have over 50 grandchildren. They will be Nigerian. They are Nigerian. They will continue to be Nigerian by the grace of God. What do you have? What those who have this change mantra, for them, what do they have to tell them and me that will be better for Nigeria than they have, which they are not prepared to disclose? So let them put it in black and white, that they want to change the constitution of Nigeria from what it is today to a new one. And let us know what is the look of the new one. How will Nigeria look like when the restructuring or change of constitution or structure took place, so that we will have our eyes open. And in a democracy, we'll then be entitled to say, we accept this or we don't accept that, or we have some changes affecting this or that. This is my take on this respect.
Okay, thank you very much. The question now is, according to, everyone heard what he has said, according to his presentation, my understanding is, yes, he's not afraid, and no one is afraid of the world, and no one is afraid of restructuring. However, those who have who are clamoring for restructuring has not put anything on the table. I will reserve my questions for now. I will call on Dr. Philip Idawo, the APC chairman UK, to please ask his question now.
Mazizuka, I would like to ask question in case I don't know. Can we ask question now? Do we will have to wait until after the second all the presentations?
No, we're asking the question now. So
Yeah.
the question, Philip, Dr. Philip Idawo,
yes.
you have the floor.
Yes, thank you very much, moderator. Papa ALHAJI, it's a real pleasure to meet you again after several years. The last time I met you in Benin was 1999. And I'm happy that you mentioned that Chief Enahoro. At that time, I was still back in Nigeria, and I was working as a member of this movement for national reformation. And as you know, what we have campaigned, worked so hard for, was for the restructuring of Nigeria. I think that the issues that has to do with what Nigeria should look like, as you pointed to, I think they should be very clear to every one of us. One, the present structure is not working. It's not working because power is exceedingly concentrated at the center. Every part of Nigeria has the potential to become wealthy, self-sufficient, and contributing to the overall good of that great country. Nigeria has the responsibility to become a global star and a country of reference for all Black people. I think that your generation, sir, represents for Nigeria the hope for the future, because your generation knew where we are coming from. Thank God for keeping you alive. Thank God that many people are meeting you and interacting with you for the first time today. But I know I have sat down with you and I have listened to you speak. I know that you mean well for Nigeria. I know that a lot of persons from your generation mean well for Nigeria. Yes, there is a possibility of fear, what could happen. But what you own Nigeria, and indeed the Black race, is to help the younger generation, who have, some of whom have been fed with lies and the poison of fear planted in their minds, is to help them understand that at the beginning, Nigeria was not necessarily set up to fail. It was not set up to self-destruct. It was not set up to have citizens in any part of the country, north, east, west, south, to be suspicious of each other. This is what I learned listening to so many members of your generation with whom I have been fortunate to interact with. So I think that the issue you have raised are germane to the discussions we are having today. There is clearly a way out of our present quagmire. For instance, the Movement for National Reformation at some point put forward an 8 regional federation for Nigeria, and put forward and requested that the country should be so devolved that certain functions alone were left to the center, and that each of these 8 regions should have enough powers to have their own parliament and be able to function in such a way that they can look after their own affairs and their own citizens. And I don't think that there is any part of Nigeria that cannot survive if well governed and if given the incentive to do so. So, sir, I am not going to speak more than what I've said, other than to say that your generation, represented by you here today, own my generation, you owe Nigeria the duty of care to help us understand that Nigeria was set up to succeed, not just for Nigerians, but for the Black race. And I'm appealing to you to have a think of what I'm saying. The time I met you in person, I left with very, very high regard. And I recall that at some point I will mention your name in some of my discussions.
Yes.
All right. So this is what I feel. I think that it should not be the case that we hear things that further confuse us or further cause us to panic. What we should be hearing from you now and your generation should be things that help us to ask the real question. Why is Nigeria the way she is? Why is it that people are afraid that if the present structure is dismantled, Nigeria will crumble? Why is it impossible for us to look at a different way of doing things? I belong in the APC. My party promised restructuring of Nigeria. Our party has worked. They set up a committee headed by Governor El-Rufai, who presented a brilliant document for a way forward. That document has been neglected and tossed aside. Why is that the case? Why? Look, our generation of Nigeria wants to see Nigeria prosper. We want to see Nigeria grow. We want to see Nigeria become a star for all Black people. That is what we are. That is what we have been striving and working for. So, sir, I beg you. I know that you are in Ramadan season, so I will not detain you further. Thank you very much, sir, for listening to me. And it's a real pleasure to meet you again today after so many years.
Let's allow the ALHAJI to respond, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yeah?
So, ALHAJI, you can go ahead and respond, please. Thank you.
Yes. I'm not afraid of anything. I didn't say I'm afraid of restructuring. All I'm saying is that I want to know from the sponsors of this idea, what will it look like for Nigeria? I don't see anything why I should be afraid of any idea. I've never been afraid of ideas. If I find ideas do not tally with mine, I propose mine. That's mine. The issue is, if somebody thinks that something is wrong, is not working, it is not for him to articulate a substitute for that thing which is working, which is not working. Nigeria has been operating this federation from more than 60 years now. That's even before we gained our independence. Now, if we can operate something for 60 years and that thing is not working, is it not fair to tell the people that this is why we feel that the thing is not working? I will tell you something, probably you've never heard of it. Why my late friend Tanko did not succeed in selling his 8-point agenda was when he was asking for 8 republics. He called them republics, not regions, not states. Then each republic will have its own civil service. Each republic will have its own military establishment, police, judiciary, and other things. We saw that as a maneuver. I'm sorry to tell you that we saw that as a maneuver by some elements among our minority ethnic groups to turn the situation to favor them. In my opinion, even if they want to turn the situation to favor them, they have the duty to come out and tell the people what the other people that will be affected would benefit from their own program. Up till now, people are saying restructuring is good, but they never told anybody what is the benefit of restructuring.
Okay, sir.
They never tell anybody. I heard 1 or 2 people who are saying that we should go back to 1963 Constitution. I swear by God that I will support going back to 1963 Constitution. But I want peace, people, because don't let us take people for granted that under the present arrangement, the North will have an advantage in terms of representation in the National Assembly, in terms of, it's not for that. We are talking about future, the future of our children, grandchildren, and so on, and generation, and the country. We belong to the country. We cannot take Kanu to Sudan. Nobody can take Anambra to South Africa. They will all be here till the world no longer exists. So we have a stake in the future of the country. And therefore we should be told in black and white what are those who are having alternative arrangement have in mind. What are they, why do we have a hidden agenda? This is my reaction.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. And again, you've hit the nail. You said you are not afraid, and by saying you mean that the region, the North, is not afraid of restructuring.
I'm not representing the North.
No, he's not represented. He said me.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. You. Okay, I'll put it that way. My bad. I'll withdraw that statement. So now you said you're not afraid of the North. Sorry, you are not afraid of restructuring.
I'm not afraid of.
Exactly. So
I say I want to do what I say.
Exactly.
I'm by nature. You don't know me. By nature, I'm not a timid person. What created me.
Now,
when we were renting MPC, they had all the native authority police, the emirs, the British power, and so on. But I confronted them. In 1953, I led a protest of young people in Kanu. We went to the airport to protest to the MPC delegation going to land with 8-point plan, which was to turn Nigeria into a confederation. We opposed it. I was arrested for leading that protest, 18 of us. Out of that 18, 15 of us were convicted. We were serving the towns when we appealed, and our appeal was allowed. We were rearrested, reconvicted, and I served 3 months for leading that protest. A timid person, as at that time, will not lead such a protest.
Exactly. That is indeed revealing. Now the question is, if there is this belief that there is nothing put on the table by those that clamor for restructuring, one would then wonder. We had the 2014 restructuring document. We have the APC, as alluded by Dr. Philip Idewo, the APC restructuring document led by Natsir El-Rufai, who incidentally is the governor of Kaduna today. Position, put out there. Yet there appears to be no willingness from the powers that be or the government to even genuinely look at these documents.
That is true. And let me tell you what I said, what I know. There are people who believe that both my good friend, the former chairman of PDP, forgive me if I forget this, from Benin.
Sorry. No, what's it called?
Okay, you forget also. We'll get the name later.
That's Chifanene.
Chifanene, yeah.
No, not a name. No, not a name. The man who handed over to the present national chairman.
Chief Oyegun.
Chief Oyegun.
Oh, APC then, not PDP. You said, okay.
Okay,
yeah,
APC.
Yeah.
We were in PDP together, so that's probably why my mind went into PDP. So now there are people who believe that Buhari or people around Buhari felt that that committee appointed by Chief Oyegun, of course approved by his working committee, and with El-Rufai as chairman, was an ambush laid against Buhari. So if Buhari did not accept it, I'll not be surprised. But the 2014 conference was initiated and approved and inaugurated by President Jonathan.
Correct.
I happen to be a member of that conference. Till today and tomorrow, I've never been against Jonathan. I fought for him when he has never met me. I only met him 3 times, 2 times in a crowd, only once between him and me on a different matter. But I am surprised till today that why Chief Jonathan did not initiate even a white paper of the summary of that recommendation of the conference and submit it as a document of the government that set up that conference, so that when anybody, Buhari or anybody takes over, he has a white paper well prepared for him to start. If he doesn't want it, he can say so. But I don't know, I've never supported Buhari. All along, I've been against him because I said he was not competent to handle the job, and I'm proving right. But I can understand if Buhari is hesitant to act on it because it's not his idea.
Thank you very much. So we take another question from Mike Ntodenka. Mike, you're on now.
Okay, good evening all. My name is Mike Ntodenka, based in Germany. My question is direct to the ALHAJI. My question is this: what is the position of the North on restructuring? Just a very simple question, just so that we can understand how.
But sorry, I think I need to make clarification here. He said it before. He's not here to represent the North.
And what I'm trying to add is that there has never been an occasion where the North sat together and discussed the issue of restructuring. And I can tell you that the former secretary of Arewa Consultative Forum, Anthony Sani, was asked the same question about the position of his organization towards restructuring. He asked, he didn't see him, I didn't meet him, but he asked for details. He said he wanted to know what it is about. What is the detail? What is the blueprint for it? Why can't, please, some people who know what restructuring means, bring that you are well-educated people like me, who can write millions of pages of ideas. Why is it difficult to present a document that will be published in the newspapers, in the social media, and so on, for people, you and me and everybody, to read what is restructuring Nigeria going to be?
Okay, thank you very much. So we're taking another question from Ayola Lawal. Ayola Lawal, you're now on. Ayola Lawal.
Yeah, I think you've been unmuted, right?
Yes.
Thank you very much. It's a privilege to be here this evening. My question goes this way. As an elder statesman, sir,
yes.
Do you think the structure we have presently in Nigeria is working? And if it's no, have you ever thought of the way to make it better for you and the generations to come, sir? Thank you.
That is something that I am not satisfied with in the way Nigeria is being run. This is the way people who are elected to power are governing us. Most of them contested election not to change anything in Nigeria, not to improve Nigeria, but to have power, and a lot of them, and make money. If I can have somebody with courage to come out with a position that will help us to get good election, to have good political party system, to have good judicial like me and like you probably, will find a way out of the difficulty Nigeria is experiencing. Our problem, in my opinion, is a problem of maladministration. People stealing public money, people are giving power instead of developing road, developing infrastructure. Look how long it took us without electricity in Nigeria. When people nominated Buhari, I was hoping that at least we'll get power all over the country. This is his 5th year. He has only 2 more active years. The last one will be a year for election. I don't know what are his plans. And people tonight, there's somebody who's APC among you, whether he is aware of, from today, when will Kano get electricity to restore its lost industrial might, so that every man in Kano will be able to be engaged gainfully as a result of the provision of electricity in Kano. The same thing with anybody in Enugu, in Maiduguri, in Rivers. These are the key issues. 5 years we took from the time when General Buhari was elected to date as president, is enough to have even regional or zonal electricity supply, so that at least small scale, medium scale industry could pick up, and people will get job, and they'll get money to feed their family, and the country will look better. They will pay tax. I think if you can help me, I'm talking of the man from APC, and tell his party that between now and the 2 years that Buhari will remain to have his active years, if they can assure Nigerians that there will be electricity all over the country, I'll be one of the first people to congratulate Buhari.
Thank you very much. So we have the next question coming from Clifford. Clifford, you are now on.
Thank you very much, Chief, for this presentation. We've heard from, thank you very much. We've heard from the elder statesman, and my question is, sir, from the time of independence till the present day, and having seen that Nigeria has not evidently offered to the citizenry what they deserve a long time, what would be your advice to the government, and what do you think that should be done differently to make Nigeria very progressive? And what should be your advice to the electorate? Because we have transited from the military government down to the democratic government, whereby the people have the choice to elect who will be their representatives. And all our hope has always been that when we get to the democratic dispensation, that things will get better in Nigeria. But yet, things has got worse than it was even in the military regime. I say so because I'm a young person, just 33 years of age. But from my experience as a young person, I found out that even military regime, it was under military regime that Lagos was built, and we can see marina bridges and all this and that. But since we enter democratic regime, there is nothing, tangible that we can account for. The citizens are getting hopeless every day. And the people, every 4 years, converges to elect who will be their representatives. Why is it also that we have been getting it so wrong? And what would be your advice to both the leadership and the citizens in order to get Nigeria working and better than what we're experiencing today?
Okay, thank you very much.
A few moments ago, I said I heard somebody proposing that we should go back to 1963 Constitution. And I said I supported it.
And you still support it?
I still support it.
So,
but no, just let me, because you see, my brain is choked up. It's not like your own. So, I have seen the trajectory of our leaders from independence to 1966 laid down. For instance, Tafawa Balewa laid down programs for irrigation farming in Nigeria. He laid down program for transportation, extension of railway system all over the country. In fact, a year before he was assassinated, he commissioned the first extension of railway from Jos to Maiduguri. And other programs. I want you, because there's no time, and if the man monitoring the program is not prepared to give me time, I will give myself time. You see, if you can take time, you go through Wikipedia, you get the first national development program for Nigeria. You will find that a well-planned development program. Now, somebody, the last person who asked the question, said we are in a democracy. I disagree with him. In Hausa, there's something they said, zabuwa da kan ko kaza da kan zabuwa, a chicken with a guinea fowl head. Now, we came back to democracy in 1999. From that time to date, we have 4 presidents. 2 completed their first term. No, 1 completed his first term. The other one completed 2 terms. The first one did not complete his tenure. Out of the 4, those who completed their tenure, Obasanjo and now Buhari, are military people. How can you think that simply because you cast votes for somebody, you change his mantra, you change his mindset? To me, we are still being run by people with military mentality. You cannot, if I'm elected president or local government chairman, I will not refuse to obey court order. It is part of our history that Obasanjo and Buhari refused to obey a court order. Obasanjo in respect of allocation to Lagos State. Buhari in respect of many of them, but the particular one was granting bail to his former former national security to Goodluck Jonathan Desuki. So to you, this is a democracy. To me, it is not. It is half democracy, half military rule, because the president is the alpha and omega of the system. So I don't think it is a full-fledged democracy. I want to complete something quickly, and that is about the committee of El-Rufai, which Buhari refused even to look at. If your party, if in a democracy, in Britain, if Conservative Party today took a decision to appoint a committee to make recommendation, and that recommendation is made, the leader, the chairman of the party, will take the recommendation to the prime minister. The prime minister has no right to refuse to look at the recommendation. That is where democracy is from. But here, the president refused to look at the recommendation. The recommendation made by his own party, initiated by the chairman of his own party, headed by a governor of his own party. How can you tell me that this is a real democracy that we fought for? I fought for independence. I fought for democracy in Nigeria. I'm still fighting for democracy. But I don't see it as a full-fledged democracy.
Thank you very much, sir. By all indications,
Please help me to take my time as from now, so that I can. I told you I'm old. I was given the impression that it would be for half an hour. Now we've done 1 hour almost. I've broken my fast. I would like to have something to eat. So please release me. Let me. If you want another time, you can call me. I will come.
Thank you very much. On that note, we will want to relieve you, so that you go break your fast. We are very grateful for your time. Thank you very much for joining us. So Daniel Elumba, I don't know if there is any other thing you want to say before the chief leaves, before the ALHAJI leaves. Daniel Elumba.
Yeah, I want to say that it is an honor to have ALHAJI in our midst today, the elder statesman. We have been reading about you since I was born. I've been hearing your name. So it's an honor to see you speak and share your ideas. Unfortunately, time is not our friend.
Yeah.
1 hour is too short to drink from your fountain of knowledge.
Thank you.
I'm sure that another time we'll call on you to have for further discussion on issues of national importance. Thank you very much.
And finally, if we can, I don't know if it's possible, I need to make a request.
Yes.
We have about 6 people raising their hands, but can you take at least 2 of them, their questions, but if they can make it short, please. Thank you very much, sir. So, Ken Okeze, you're on.
Okay, thank you very much. Mine was a little bit more like a contribution or like an add-on. Thank you very much, ALHAJI, for coming on the show. I really appreciate all the knowledge and the history which you have shared with us today. So I just have a quick contribution, which some people might also transform into a question pretty much. I think for me, especially my generation, one of the key things which I've asked myself has been, what is the clamor? Why do we want restructuring? And obviously, it is a no-brainer because the present system we have in Nigeria is not working for many stakeholders. There has been the argument that for some stakeholders is working much better for them than the others, but that's another point. But I think based on my understanding, and I would like ALHAJI to also talk about this if maybe it's something we don't understand, even though he has talked about it a little bit. we seem to feel that the whole point about restructuring is coming from the people and not the government. And we kind of feel like that's probably has been one of the reasons why it has not been taken up the way it should be taken up. Because when we hear things like people need to come out and explain what restructuring means, because no one has really come out to say it, I think it's a slap to the face in the for the masses and every one of us out there, because the concept of restructuring is not complicated. It's based around the evolution of power and things like fiscal federalism and all that. But the key thing is just the implementation will just be done to suit the local reality of the country.
Okay.
So, ALHAJI, in your opinion, do you agree that probably one of the issues why this whole thing has not been taken up is the fact that...
Okay, thank you very much. So let me take Uche Chukwu Eze at the same time so that ALHAJI can treat that in one go and go and rest. Uche, you're on.
Okay, thank you, ALHAJI, for having you from Iceland. My question to you is like this. From your own point of view, do you think it's possible to have a structure that everybody has been clamoring for? And if so, what do you think? What do you think the masses should be expecting? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So,
I don't want to waste your time. I've never said I don't.
Go ahead, sir.
But what I said is that those who are for it should bring out the detail, the blueprint, how it will look like. And every Nigerian have the right to know what. I don't want to commit my children and my grandchildren to something that I cannot explain. It's not fair. It's just like ambushing the entire people of Nigeria through a high-sounding slogan, restructuring. Why is it difficult to define it?
You've actually said most of it. The 1963 Constitution.
No, you are not. Look, you are not the profounder of this theory. Go and talk to them. Present it in any form you like, but you are just one of the few people listening to it. You are not the initiator. Let the initiators bring the blueprint. Let's see. You say your own will be brief. Not brief enough. Can you now let me go? Because since we are repeating ourselves.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure listening to you. Thank you, ALHAJI.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.